Substance.
I say a couple to the flex they represent for Wayne Global TV. So I say, you know the code in the Wayne Global TV is what fully blessed on the 90 days. So I say, yeah man, to the fullest. Yeah man, make sure them log in to Wayne Global TV. So I say, check it out. So I say, one cup of flex. So I say, Wayne Global. When you watch you know, film a plan up and not try to put them money pan we head. But man, I live too long, them want Wayne Global fitted. To him juggle so smooth that them want him life for dread. I through the bank, I like the break, but we ain't all about the bread. Open up on the ears and no listen when we said, cause we lyrics them so smooth like the linen on the bed. Them one with a fall, travel living pan the edge, I must say true, we make this them. We ain't Global TV, we are 90, and 90. Who Jaja bless, no man can curse. Give it the Range Rover, who no drive yours. Boom! We ain't Global TV to the fullest, one cup of excellence, see me?
Good evening and welcome to None is Worthy. No, not one of them. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm very tired. Don't be surprised if I fall asleep on you this evening. But before I do anything, I want to say from myself and the entire globalist family, our sincere condolences to Rachel Brown and her entire family. We hope you can find comfort and solace in the good memory of your family. Be strong and always know that the globalist family always have you in their thoughts. So once again, our sincere condolences to Rachel Brown and her entire family. And cherish the good memories and be strong. Good evening to those on the X, to those on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. Good evening and welcome to Global Television. I am confused. I know you all are confused with this back and forth with all of these people and the Integrity Commission. Good evening to my community party. Good evening to all my family members. Good evening to my subscribers, my platform membership, Debbie Jervis, Sandra Ellis. Good evening to all my supporters. Good evening to all my moderators. Good evening, and welcome. Thank you for joining us, Patricia Matthews. Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, Debbie Jervis. Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Arlene Foster. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening and welcome to Michelle Lewis Wilson. Fully Bash Tivoli. Good evening. Fully Bash. No, this is Fully Bash. There's another one, Fully Bash Tivoli as well, I think. Good evening. Good evening, Patricia Matthews. Good evening. Good evening, Gloria Morris. Good evening, Denise Hall. Good evening. Good evening to who else? JP, good evening. Good evening. I'm just scrolling through slowly because when this thing runs in front of my eye, then I get dizzy. Sonia Newman Smith, good evening and welcome. Rosalie Ricketts, good evening. Amazing Grace, good evening. Beat and Teach, Wagwan, good evening and welcome. Who else is here? Sharon, good evening. Good evening and welcome. Good evening. Jamaican Foodie, good evening. Sandra Ellis, good evening. How are you? Cousin Myrna, good evening. How are you doing? Abena Sadoki, good evening and welcome. My thing jumped all the way to the top. Hold on, I need to roll back a bit. Yes, Myrna. Good evening, Cousin Myrna. How are you? Gloria Morris, good evening. Good evening. Good evening to Mavis Gooden. Good evening, Millicent Jones. Kareen Wilson, good evening. Good evening, Lilith Lockerbie. Good evening, Abina Sadoki. Good evening. The Boy, good evening and welcome. Paula Shelley, good evening. Good evening. Daphne Matthews, good evening. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Jackie Grime, good evening. Jamaican Carlos, how are you, my brother? Good evening and welcome. Norman Ferguson, good evening and welcome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Only not confused with the praying man we say integrity said them a try get in touch with him how much time to no avail. Him a say he is me can't bother with them because God knows say the amount of lies them a tell now, me start get dizzy. The amount of lies, the amount of lies with politicians them I tell we are now. And the tit for tat between the integrity I wonder if this tit for tat is going on in any other country with the Integrity Commission and politicians. We need to do some research on the Integrity Commission over the Caribbean and Africa and see if there's this huge tit for tat between politicians and the Integrity Commission. One has said me I try to get in touch with you and I can't get in touch with you. The other has said me I know how it happen because I am available. You know, it's just like we're going around in circles with this whole Integrity Commission thing to no avail, really. Vivian Hamilton, good evening and welcome. Because nobody is willing to be honest with us. Nobody is willing to be honest with us. Everybody is holding to their own story. KK, good evening and welcome. Everybody is holding to their own story. So how we are going to decide who tell lie? If he has said one thing, she has said one thing, and then we're left here in the middle confused, and there's no one to come out and give us any clarity. No one to come clear their name, whether they're lying or they're incompetent. Nobody's doing anything. Lilith Foster, good evening and welcome. Nobody is doing anything. All we're left in media land with is confusion. Good evening, Granny Sus, Auntie Sus. Let me say this to you. The fact that a JLP lawyer in the Senate, Bruce Golding's daughter, one of the other hereditary of politics. The way law is, Mr. Hughes, Paula see it differently, Isaac see it differently, Valerie see it differently. This is why it's called opinions of the law. So the fact that Bruce Golden data come on your program, come give clarity. I'm sure, Mr. Hughes, if you bring on a People's National Party attorney, they would also have a different view. They would have a different view. So the fact that Bruce Golden's daughter come and give her legal opinion in the debacle, this is the information for Rachel Brown's family funeral. The fact that Bruce Golden's lawyer came, Bruce Golden's daughter, Herbert Tislin, good evening, and gave her legal opinion. Angela, 48349. How you doing? Beverly Edwards. Good evening. The fact that Bruce Golden's daughter gave her opinion of the law, it doesn't mean is the correct one, or it doesn't mean is the acceptable one to the People's National Party. I'm sure if you have a People's National Party attorney, they would have a different view also. So don't make it look like because Bruce Golden's daughter says it, I saw it go. And we can settle this score now. No, we need both the government and the Integrity Commission to put this miserable row to bed. Us, the taxpayer, who is paying both sides of the coin, the politicians and the Integrity Commission, who the People's National Party is saying one thing. The Jamaica Labour Party is saying another thing. The Integrity Commission is saying something completely different, or at times rather silent. Denise Hall, good evening. How are you? Hyacinth Coley, good evening and welcome. So the truth is, we need clarity from all the sides in the argument. I wouldn't mind seeing all of them in one press conference together, telling us what the truth is and let us decide. Give us documentary evidence in public. Answer this question, Miss Ellis. Was the report sent to the minister responsible 2 months prior to you sending it to Parliament? Because it is on that basis, Mrs. Ellis, that they are saying you did not cheat the report or lawfully, because it's a special report, one that was not ordered, Mrs. Ellis, by the Parliament, and therefore they're saying the law says it must be submitted firstly to the minister responsible. And if within 2 months the minister responsible does not table it in Parliament, then a copy can be sent to Parliament to be tabled. Let us know, Miss Ellis, if that's the procedure that was followed. I don't think a line should be drawn under this. Don't you all think a line should be drawn under this confusion? Because the People's National Party hold to one argument. The Jamaica Labour Party, Lion Party, hold to one argument. And then the Integrity Commission, Rowan Williams, is on another limb, or is rather silent. I wonder if Miss Ellis has been threatened. Remember one of the integrity people, Pie sometime last year. I wonder if Miss Ellis is in fear why she's not coming forward to clear her name to say, I am not incompetent and I am not lying. Because at the moment, Miss Ellis, Juliet Holness, the Prime Minister's side wife, is making you look incompetent. Florence Hamilton, good evening and welcome. It's making you look incompetent, Miss Ellis. Pamela McNeil, how are you? And a woman with your reputation, Miss Ellis, Colleen Stewart, good evening. The experience you have under your belt, Miss Ellis, in accounting, auditing, and reporting. This issue must be put to bed. Clarity must be given to us, the taxpayer. It is our business. There, under no circumstances, run one less. Good evening and welcome. On a board of a private sector organization, if you all dance around the auditor, Laxi Gegri, good evening and welcome. If you all dance around the audit of a private sector organization, you know you'll be out on your face within no time. How is it then that in our government and in our public sector, people run it as if it's their stall in the market? Because they now run it like a well-organized packed shelf in our supermarket, you know. Them a run with Parliament like a hand cart, them a sell pan. 1 minute you're here, the next minute you're there. Have we not been very confused since the start of this year? Especially from the general election. There is a rafter of confusion. I don't know where we're going to start we're going to come to some understanding of really where our politics is. Because you know it's really up in the air. It is really up in the air at the moment. Extrajudicial killing. It's nothing that we're not used to with our police. Extrajudicial killing in our country is the norm. Remember, it was our Minister of National Security, the illegal gun smuggler, Dr. Horace Chang. Busted in Sisotu. Shoot them and then go over to them, go ask them question. Did you all not see that on the recent Bagwalk extrajudicial assassination? Rosemary Samuels, good evening, how are you? The extrajudicial assassination in Bagwok, St. Catherine, isn't that a directive carried out from the Minister of National Security? Or am I a fool if we don't understand? When the Minister of National Security says shoot them first, then go over and ask them question. Wasn't that a directive? From me ban, everybody police kill extrajudicially. It was a shootout. And in none of these shootouts, no police got injured or lost their lives. Does anyone know, or if anyone is aware yet, if the police are saying that they've recovered a gun at that scene of the extrajudicial killing in Bagwok, St. Catherine? The militarization of your police force, Jamaicans, it's something alarming and something that you should wake up to immediately. This type of brutality from the state is an action to subdue you. It's an action to keep you in your place. It's an action to keep you in continuous fear. At home, you've got to let the government know that we did not sign up for this. Let's look at, I know a lot of you have seen it already, because Carlos played it quite a few times, but things like this must keep in the limelight into eternity. I will make sure also I will email both of these videos to Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch Jamaica. Even if they have it already, the more of us send it, the more concern it shows from the people on the ground. Let's look at the news reporting of it.
7:49 a.m. Pineapple Lane, Bogwalk, St. Catherine. The last time Romarius Sterling was seen alive. In this CCTV video, the police are seen talking to the man who was seemingly instructed to kneel. He was taken outside his premises and then the sound of a gunshot. It's unclear how many members of the security forces were at the scene, but we observed them milling around. By this time, Romario Sterling laid lifeless on the ground. The police report on the incident last Thursday stated that the shooting happened at 8:20 p.m.
That's not what happened. They came here in the morning. They had him here. They can see the video. The time span on the video says 7:49. Already had him here with him hand on him head.
7:49 a.m. or p.m.
A.m.
It also stated that the deceased man was shot during a confrontation.
No gunshot no come through the zinc. So if him in here, so I shoot after them. Them supposed to stand out the door and shoot after him in here. Right?
The report further said the cops seized a 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 8 rounds. Romario's relatives are incensed.
You pretend the man with him hand on him head. So many uno. So many man pretend one man, you know, and he have his hand on his head. I imagine you stoop him down on his knee. For the evidence is there where we see your hand on him shoulder, push him down on his knee. Oh my God. And you look at me and tell me, say, I no baby that you kill. No baby that you take a candy from.
Of concern is the police report on the incident. The family is also questioning why their relative was killed in such a manner.
I imagine, you know, you go at the house, you knock on the door, and you open the door, right? And surrender to you.
A relative who lives where the incident occurred says the lawmen also entered the house using a flashlight because inside is poorly lit.
On the other video inside, you can literally hear when they come and knock the door. I have that video on the phone. They knock the door, and when you open, you just see the flashlight flashing.
There are no bullet holes or other signs, he says, of a raging gun battle. As for the deceased man's father, he's distraught. He says his son has been living in the area for more than 3 years and insists he has not had any run-ins with the law.
Teacher will tell us I in cheer my son sit down at school. No bad reputation for no school. So my son a fight or nothing. My son go to school till him graduate.
When contacted, the police insist the incident happened in the night and maintain that they were acting in self-defense. Indicom is investigating. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
This is depressing. Yvonne Johnson, good evening and welcome. JamericanTV.com. Good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome. It's the usual we're hearing from the police. Self-defense. Shootout. But isn't that Khalifa Richards? The very old story from Philly grandparents or great-grandparents know that very story. Self-defense. Shootout. Pull gun power. It's nothing new. We've heard it before. But correct me if I'm wrong. Did they not say last Thursday? Did they not say last Thursday? Sonia Newman-Smith. Good evening and welcome. Did they not say this took place last Thursday? If this took place last Thursday, did the new commissioner not sign in last Monday? So this is under the belt of the new commissioner, is it not? Week before the new one. I thought they said last Thursday, or when that the video was done. It's under, okay, it's under Google Gaga. Well, let's see then, Carlos, because the portfolio transfers. Let's see under Dr. Blake if we're going to see justice. Angela Green, good evening, under Dr. Blake. Let's see if we're going to have a fair correct me, Carlos. Let's see if it's under the new one or the old one. Because the old one appointed the 18th of March. Let's see though, whoever it took place under, let's see if the new commissioner is going to make sure the investigation leads where the investigation lead where the evidence follow, or is it the other way around? Yeah. And if the family of this young man, so it's under Google Gaga, the family of this young man is going to get justice. And let us see if the police officers are going to go to prison. Does anyone know, because I haven't done any research into this today, if these police officers have been placed on administrative duty while Indicom is doing their investigation? But let us see if this commissioner, I'm here, Clifford Talk today, Brittany Line, good evening and welcome. Me hear Clifford Talk today. So Kevin beef up foot patrol police in the corporate area, as if the corporate area alone is, as if Jamaica is the entire corporate area. Shouldn't it be an island-wide deployment? Shouldn't it be an island-wide deployment of foot patrol police rather than have them in a guard room with them foot up on desk or have them round a back and play domino? All in faster. Good evening and welcome. What this police, this commissioner, responding to who's Khalifa Richard? Two more young men killed also. Yes, that article, I've put quite a few articles in the description area. The two killing that Khalifa is referring to is in the description area. You can have a read. Colleen Jones, how are you? You can have a read at them. But let us see if there is a difference in police attitude. And as I was saying, Dr. Blake rolling out foot patrol police across the corporate area. Should this not be a national deployment? Rather than have them in a guard room with them foot pan desk, or have them round a canteen or play a domino. Rather than you run there play domino, you have them out on the street and in the community doing the patrol. If police were patrolling these hotspot communities, a lot of the crimes that happen in these communities would be minimized because the presence of the police would deter a lot of things. But as we all know, police don't really go into communities in Jamaica unless them are going to look something for beg or thief, or if you call them and it's an incident where they don't feel coward and feel like come. Because when them coward, them tell you so them not a vehicle or the vehicle broke down or somebody else gone out with the vehicle. It is a reality sometimes for them for true, because we know sir, Bobby Montague and the whole of them hide off the vehicle them. Hide off the vehicle them so they don't have enough vehicle, or the vehicle them will come for them The beefing politician them and public servant, take them and sell off and scrap them and do what they want to do with them. And now police have a boom jive. But let me say this to you, Dr. Mannion. What's his name? Dr. Blake. You need to change up something when me say it happening in Jamaica, or when me hear say it happen. One, you can have bike police a ride round with big old gun. I don't know the name of them, so I just call them gun. Big old gun strap over them back on bike. Some common sense wouldn't tell you say it not practical enough for police to operate in that way there. Another approach again, Mr. Mannion, Blake, stop, cause we see Google Gaga. I do a lot of these something too. You can't send out a whole team, a young, hothead police on road. They must be under supervision. The fact that them just come out of training college no mean say them are police. What you learn at training college, and when you actually come out to apply it on the street, it's a total different thing. So when you deploy your officers, them, especially the one them where you send out, go harass motorists, they need to be supervised. You can't send out officers on road when I have no experience and poorly trained without any on-spot supervision. Because them in a uniform and have a gun, they think that they're lying to themselves and nobody not allowed to thump them down. Sending them out with experienced officers, unless the experienced officer is a rogue like them, then you will have a lot of these young police officers with things to say, we and them big people are sides. Come up at them like a boy, we are the police in Jamaica. Really think them and we big people, Gaza Star, good evening. Stronger together, good evening and welcome. Some of them really think so we and them are sides. And I'm saying to you, Dr. Blake, change up your deployment as well as take them out of the station and put them all about in the communities. Make sure your rookie police officers, your inexperienced, just a come out of police college officers, the two, I can say if I find the seeing the Debbie, the two will tell them big man said a different approach now, a different approach now. These behaviors, these behaviors, we must stand against them. The issue we're having is we stay quiet to too much. We stay quiet to too much until we make them take we over completely and take with a stooge and fools. This video should be somewhere here, you know. This year, let me see. Hold on there. No, that's not it. But we need to, let me, I plan to do this. I want to give you the details, especially those of you at home. I want to give you the detail for the Ministry of Health to contact them. I want those of you at home who take this serious, and what I'm talking about is the deal, CETA, different approach. After we watch different approach, then we come to Dr. Tufton. And am I frozen? Somebody tell me if me freeze. How are I going, yeah? Me freeze? No, me not freeze. Okay. David, good evening and welcome. After we watch a different approach, when we come back, we're going to talk about Stephen Christopher Tufton, Dr. Alfred Dawes. Stronger Together, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support to Global Television. We will talk about Dr. Dawes, Christopher Tufton, and the racist Frank Hester and his contract to electronize your medical details, you, the people of Jamaica, medical records. Bear in mind that this man hates black women to the point that he wants to shoot them.
Different approach now, straight up. Different approach. Different approach. Deal with it better.
You can deal with it better. Oh, let go man neck. Let go man neck.
Yeah, man, yeah, we are telling you. Come out of the vehicle. Come out of the vehicle, yeah, no. Tell me I tell you a different way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, that alright. Come out of the vehicle. Step from the vehicle. No. Alright. So now, we're not doing so, brother. We're not doing so, brother. Ah, man, I saw these things, man. Yeah.
Man don't do them no more than the man say go look for gunman and thief.
I saw me say go look for gunman and thief. We're not doing so. Yeah.
Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Let's say that's why I never vote for Andrew Wallace again. Because be a fuckery you not go with. Be a fuckery because I don't know what kind of law this. The man not say nothing. The man not say nothing to you and want to kill off the man. The man not say nothing wrong. Go look for gunman and thief. And you don't tell him man so if you take out in driver's license, you get in goonie paper, everything and arrest him and deal with him so. Understand to deal with people. And not deal with people, sir. And mostly young police them do that. Mostly young police them. I said that my father. Me not know why. The man only tell him to go look for gunman and thief.
Yo, Gaza, man.
You see them?
Gaza, man.
No.
Officer, morning. Yeah, is it? Yeah, man.
A gunman and thief in time to go look for. He only time to go look for gunman and thief.
What is it?
Big man, look how now the man could have been on a father. For no father, the man could have been on a father. And look how now do the man. Look how now do the man. Us man and us look how that we can take care of his family them and him pitney. Look how now do the man. A wickedness that. Wicked him and all he say. Go look for gunman and thief and the brown one. Grab and pan in key. We got to cut in key.
And straight from a pound dry mouth.
And him hang on for the man. Him man not do nothing. Nothing him man not do. Nothing him man not do.
They run towards and
Him man could have been on a father. A young. Me not access say they young. Them police are young. I be them things the young police them go on with. Be them pulling issue them go on with. And now I got charge a man for fooling issue and a wrong. And a wrong. That them wrong. Them wrong. Cause me have a video and I put it out. And you always not run this system you good. Him not run it good.
Precious Allen, good evening and welcome. The approach has to change. Natalia Freeman, Natalia Freeman, how you doing? Who you bottom? Good evening and welcome. The approach has got to change. This type of approach, we know it's not good policing, but this type of approach will never see a working relationship between the people and the police. Miranda Raddock, good evening and welcome. This type of approach is an approach that is inviting uprising in the country. Because when police brutality get continuous and extreme, then one will have no right, touch, good evening and welcome, but to push back or defend themselves from state abuse by any means necessary. There's nothing in the books that says Jamaicans must accept police brutality. There's nothing that says we should accept police brutality. Right, let me share my screen here. Now, I'm on side with Dr. Dawes on this issue. Marcia Essay, good evening and welcome. Now, last week, you remember I did a story on the racist row in Britain, where a conservative, a donor, a millionaire donor, or billionaire, or whatever he is, donor of the Conservative Party in Britain, information has came to light that he hates Diane Abbott so much. Diane Abbott is Britain's first black female MP. He hates Diane Abbott so much to the point where he would want her shot. And every time seeing Diane Abbott on television makes him hate all black women. Now, this racist Frank Hester, we are learning that this racist has a contract with the Jamaican government to put your medical records on the digital, the electronic system. Your government, Dr. Tufton, could have struck the deal. Your government could have struck the contract for $2.4 million US. But your fiscal prudence government signed a deal with an overt racist, one that hates all black women. Your government signed the same deal with him that they could have got for $2.4 million US. Your government signed the deal with him for $5 million US. $5 million US. 100% more than they than other offer they have. Bear in mind that another 2.4 million US would have been 100%, plus a 0.2 million US, 2.6 million. Your government. Pamela Akolo, good evening and welcome. You have caught tonight's live. Welcome. And Dr. Tufton, who swindled billions out of the national health. That same Dr. Tufton who overrun Cornwall Regional Hospital by $21 billion just gave away 2.6 million US dollars of your taxpayer money to a racist. See, Laxi is saying it's 150%. Joe Jaya, good evening and welcome. So I stand with Dr. Dawes on this, calling for an explanation to the contract and the contract be rescinded. This man also, his PR people, is using this deal he has with the Jamaican government to say he's not a racist. So I am asking all of you to make sure you write to the Ministry of Health with regards to this issue. Now, here are the details for the head office of the Ministry of Health. Please screenshot this. I will also make a post of it tomorrow and put on my pages. But please screenshot this detail. The email is there, info@moh.gov.jm. I am advising you not to phone them, so I wouldn't even mention the phone number to you. I don't want you to phone them. I want you to email them, or if you want to send a letter, you send it to 10 to 6 Grenada Way, Kingston 5. Women of Jamaica, your medical records is going to be handed over to a firm run by a racist. A racist that would probably be the friend or be friend with people like Dr. Anthony Fauci. One who is willing to use your DNA to play the game of thrones with disease taken from animal, model it so it can affect the human DNA. This is a very dangerous situation. Very dangerous. And for once, we must stand up for something. So screenshot the information, and the one in the blue is what I want you to take down. The bit that I've highlighted is the bit that I want you to take down. The email address for the head office of the Ministry of Health. Anthony R., how are you, the boss? Vivian Hamilton. Trust me, Anthony, if you don't stand for nothing, you're going to fall for anything. So I want you all, Rosemary Samuels, how are you? I want you all to take down these two highlighted details I have up on the screen. The email address for the head office at Ministry of Health, as well as the address for Ministry of Health. And please do make sure you write to the Ministry of Health or send an email to the Ministry of Health, and make sure, mention that you're in support of Dr. Dawes' letter, and your vote depend on, for the Jamaica Labour Party, depend on rescinding that contract. We cannot hand over our detail and money to racists. It's just not on. It is just not on. So let us all come on board with Dr. Dawes on this, because this is about our safety. This is about protecting our information, our personal and medical data. You cannot entrust your personal and medical data with someone who violently and viciously hates Black women. All of you in Jamaica need to write to Dr. Tufton on this issue. Also, if you are you can also, if you are sending an email, tag the office of the Prime Minister into that email also. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if we get up the OPM email for you, so you can tag. If you're sending an email, you send it to both Nigel Christopher Tufton and the office of the Prime Minister as well. Hold on, where is their contact us, bro? No contact us up here, so. Right, the Prime Minister is one of them. Okay, no, see it here. Hold on, let me share this page. Right, hold on a second. I want to make sure you all have the Prime Minister's, the office of the Prime Minister thingy as well. Right. So the address for the office of the Prime Minister is 1 Devon Road, Kingston 10. And the email is opmnews@opm.gov.jm. So also screenshot this email highlighted in blue as well, and make sure your correspondent goes to both. If you're sending letter, both addresses are there: 10 to 16 Grenada Way, Kingston 5 for Ministry of Health. And if it's for the Prime Minister office you want to write, it's 1 Devon Road, Kingston 10. The email is opmnews at opm.gov.uk. It is very important that you, the people of Jamaica, Sharon Peart, good evening and welcome. It is important that you, the people of Jamaica, get on board with this issue. This is a grave issue. This is one that you must show your concern. The more of you show your concern in writing, don't phone nobody one in a dispute with. As long as you're in a public body or a private sector organization, as long as there is a dispute, do not speak to them on the phone. Always do it in writing. That's your proof of communication. When you and them talk on the phone, them can come back, come tell you, say, they have no knowledge of it or no record of it. But your email correspondent, especially email, you see the days that when they can tell we say, them never received the letter, them not, the email, them are going to receive that. And you have a track record of that. And if it don't go to them, if I know the right email, it will bounce back to you and you know, say it not go through. So once it not bounce back, you know, say it go through to them. So flood the office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Health. Raymond, good evening and welcome. Yes, Dr. JM, thank you for that. So let me repeat again. The email for the office of the Prime Minister is opm.gov.jm. And the email for Dr. Tufton Office is info@moh.gov.jm. Make sure, women of Jamaica, men of Jamaica, make sure you all write to the Ministry of Health and the Office of the Prime Minister on this issue. Let's demonstrate with the pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. Let's demonstrate with the pen. Even if you're in a dispute with an organization, public or private sector, and you have to call them, as soon as you come off of the phone, you pick up your pen and paper, or you go on your computer and your phone and you start write. Dear sir, madam, and you date it. Further to our conversation we had around 1 p.m. today, I would like to outline to you our conversation and whatever else you want to put in it with regards to the issue. Please do so, but make sure whenever there's a dispute between UNO and any organization, it must be recorded on paper trail. Therefore, them can't come tell you, say, them never aware of it. And if you have to end up going into a legal challenge with them, you already have your proof of the level of communication you had with them on the issue. So when on people, when on companies or whatever have any dispute, stop phoning them. It's the wrong move. When you phone them, you prolong the issue longer, because every time you phone them, you have to repeat the whole story all over again. Frustrated. So always have it documentary. It must be in writing. That is your proof, and that is your way of holding them to account. You not get nowhere when you use when you go word of mouth with them. Don't work. So make sure on this issue, use your pen or your keypad to demonstrate to your government. Do not let Chris Tufton get away with spending an extra Valerie God favor. Good evening and welcome. Don't let Dr. Tufton get away with spending 150% more of your money that needed to be spent. One. And two, invest Jamaica people hard. The people defend the descendant of enslavement. Spend our money with an overt racist. Invest our taxpayers' money into a racist organization, one that wants to see black women killed. We cannot have this. And for those of you in the diaspora, in the United Kingdom, in Canada, in the US of A, write to the MP, to the Ministry of Health and the Office of the Prime Minister, as well as to you Jamaicans at home. Also make sure you get in touch with your MP. Write a letter on paper. Don't do this on email. Write a letter and drop it off to your local constituency office or at the parish council. No, not the parish council. At your local constituency office. When an MP have office all about the constituency. Write a letter with regards to this. The letter Dr. Dawes wrote, I've posted on my Facebook page. You can also find it on Dr. Dawes' page. Make sure we protest with the pen. We cannot stay silent on this issue. Let us protest with the pen. Write to the Ministry of Health, the Office of the Prime Minister, and get in touch with your local MP. Those of us in the diaspora, write to your consulate, write, email also the Office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Health. Those at you at home, threaten them with your vote. If this contract is not rescinded, we cannot vote for you. We take our life, our health, and our personal and medical information serious to the point where we cannot hand it over to a racist. Let us protest with the pen. Let us protest with the pen. If we allow this to slide, it means that we really do not care about ourselves, our future, and our livelihood, and our information. We can't let this happen, people. Diane Abbott is not the only person he hates. He hates all black women. I wonder how much deal this man has in Africa and over the Caribbean. That needed to be looked into. Rena, good evening and welcome. How are you? Let us protest with the pen. This is not an issue that we should take lightly. This is not an issue we should take lightly. It's the same descendant of people who took us through the Middle Passage. It's the same group of people that have us trained up in plantation for over 3 centuries. It's the same people that hold us into corporation slavery perpetually. We cannot stand for this. We cannot stand for this. This must be a great pushback. Every one of us at home and in the diaspora needs to get on board with this. We need to protest with the pen, protest with our emails. Make sure an email is sent to the office of the Prime Minister, to the Ministry of Health, and those of you at home, make sure you contact your MP. For those of you in the diaspora, make sure you send that letter to the office of that email to the office of the Prime Minister, to the Ministry of Health, and to your embassy wherever you are. We need to let them know that we are not going to lie silent on such a grave issue. Racism is what brought us, the African nation, to our knees. And we should treat this man with the same brush that we treat Donald Trump with. We must get on board and make sure this protest, Amoy, good evening and welcome. Dean Campbell, how are you? I know you're always here and listening as well. Cousin Jamie, Sim, good evening. Johnny D, good evening and welcome. So please, people, let us do this for once. We're not asking you to go out on the street or anything like that to get arrested. All we're asking is that you send an email to the Ministry of Health and the Office of the Prime Minister, for those of you at home, as well as contacting your local MP and let them know that I cannot vote for this. This contract must be rescinded. We cannot pay so much of our money or any of our money to a known racist. Always observing. Good evening and welcome. Violet Watson, good evening and welcome. And for those of us in the diaspora, send an email also. Send an email. Make sure you refer to Dr. Dawes' letter with regards to the contract with Frank Hester. And also email your local embassy. I want to thank you, because I know some of the Pan Road all evening I do me here and all start. I'm tired and I want to sleep. But thank you all for being here this evening. Thanks to my 2 membership, Debbie Jervis and Sandra Ellis. Also, thanks to my super chatter for the night, Stronger Together. Thank you all very much to all my viewers tonight and every night. Thanks for those who continues to subscribe and help Global TV to grow. If you have not yet subscribed to Global Television, please do so, because over here we are great thinkers and we are all learning together. Thank you very much for being here with us another evening. We really, really appreciate your support. If it's because me never want to disappoint you tonight, I would have come straight from the hairdresser and go lay down. But I promise you, I come on and I never want to disappoint you. So walk good, all my globalists. Thank you very much. And remember, continue to keep subscribing and sharing the Global TV experience. Good night from Global Television.